Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Fretboard Journal podcast. I'm your host, Jason Verlinde, the publisher of the Fretboard Journal magazine. As always, that's John Rauhaus playing in the background. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part of our community. It means the world to me that you tune in every week. And as you probably could tell, I'm a few days late with this episode because things here are rather busy. Our 60th issue is mailing to all subscribers right now. If you're hearing this, give it a couple weeks. It can take a while for everything to go through the USPS and beyond to all of your mailboxes. I'll be sharing the details of this issue in an episode later down the line, but let me just say it has some of my favorite stories of all time. I got to interview one of my all-time guitar heroes, Christopher Guest of Spinal Tap and A Mighty Wind fame. John Monteleone penned a story for this issue, and we have so many surprises inside. So if you haven't joined us yet, click on that subscribe button at fretboardjournal.com and join us. We'll make sure you get this issue at no extra charge for the next week or so. And a huge thanks to our sponsors for this week's episode. Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar right here in Seattle, Washington, one of my favorite places to look for vintage and collectible acoustic and electric guitars, synths, pedals, you name it, amps. They also have a great repair shop. It's right in Seattle's Fremont neighborhood. I love going there. Please tell them the Fretboard Journal sent you. We are also brought to you by our friends at Peghead Nation, my favorite online instruction portal around. Where else are you going to get banjo lessons from the one and only singular Danny Barnes, or be able to take jazz guitar lessons from my dear friend Matt Munisteri and so many other Fretboard Journal luminaries? Use the discount code Fretboard when you check out there and you can get your first month free. And of course, our Fretboard Summit, which is sort of the subject, beyond the subject of this week's episode, is taking place August 20th to 22nd, 2026 in Chicago at the Old Town School of Folk Music. Mark Turley of Summer School Electronics and I talk all about it, which you will hear in this week's interview. Once again, Mark is teaching not one, but two pedal making classes. So I keep trying and failing to describe this guitar weekend, which is basically a three-ring circus. There's parts of it that are like TED Talks. You can go and hear folks from the industry and great musicians talk about their craft. You can watch live podcast tapings. There is also a hands-on element, a music camp component where you can just try to be a better player. And then, of course, we've got all these incredible concerts. And then, as if that were not enough, we have something like 80, 90 guitar brands, luthiers, pedal companies all showing up, showcasing their latest and greatest to you all. You can demo anything. You can buy almost everything there. And so there's a lot of moving pieces. And just to add one more moving piece to it, we now have pedal making classes, which Mark is teaching. So I hope to see you there. And without further delay, here is my conversation with Mark, where we talk about all the things he has brewing for the 2026 Fretboard Summit, as well as just a State of the Union, a principles note, if you will, on how things are going over at Summer School Electronics. I hope you enjoy it. Mark Turley, welcome back to the Fretboard Journal podcast. This is like an annual thing now, every July.
We got to check in. We got to check in once a year, make sure everything is... thank you for having me, by the way. Thank you, everyone who's listening and checking it out.
Of course. You of course, are the mastermind behind Summer School Electronics and our literal and figurative favorite teacher at Fretboard Summit every year. You are, in fact, a teacher. We established that, school teacher. We established that the last time we talked, for folks who don't know. But you also teach a pedal building class at the Summit.
Yeah, it's a crazy idea that I thought we could throw together last year. And I thought we would do like one class. I was like, we could do like 5 people, maybe 10 tops. And then I was like, all right, we'll set it for 10. And you had said like, well, yeah, then if it sells out, or I think you said when it sells out, we'll do another. I'm like, yeah, totally. And it sold out within like, was it like a couple days, like a day or two, I think. All those spots were filled. And I'm like panicking on my website to be like, well, we have night number 2 set up. Let's figure this out. And then that one sold out. So last year we did 2 sold out classes. And it was so much fun. Like a bunch of the guys who did the class, I like ran at the end of the class, like, what are we doing next year? I'm like, I should talk to Jason to see if we can do this next year. That's probably important. And I ran into a couple of the guys just around the country in our travels this year. Like one of the dudes I just saw at the Baltimore pedal show a few weeks ago. Another guy I saw on our tram to LAX after NAMM. And he was like,
what?
Mark, hey, it was one of those faces out of context. He's like, I did the pedal building class in Chicago. And I was like, oh, what's up, man? I'm freaking out dealing with our flight, but it's great to see you. I'm having a breakdown right now, but lovely to see you. This is, yeah.
That's incredible. I did not know that story. So you know, we have our Fretboard Summit for folks listening. I've been plugging it relentlessly to you all. You can buy an all access pass and attend everything, the concerts, the workshops, whatever. You can also just at day of come and just go guitar shopping. And then occasionally, as with what we're doing with you, we have these sort of add-on things to those. And so this is basically just covering a little bit of your time, probably not much of your time at all, and supplies. And folks can build a pedal under your tutelage and then basically leave class 2 hours later with a creation of their own that they made under the watchful eye of you, the ultimate Fretboard Summit souvenir. And we try to kind of do this when stuff isn't happening. I mean, there's always programming going on, but we try to do it so that, you know, you're not going to miss out on too much. And it's in a private classroom. Am I forgetting anything? No,
it's kind of at the end of the day on Thursday and Friday, the first 2 days.
Yeah.
I don't even know what day it is right now. But yeah. And last year we did it where we all built a pedal that is a take on our Gust Drive, which is similar to like a DoD 250 or a MXR Distortion Plus type pedal, where it could be a clean boost into an overdrive into a distortion. And we added some mods to it. And I did that for both nights. And then everybody at the end of the class were like, well, what are we building next year? I was like, I don't know. Like, this was the only like kit that I had like made. Like I designed the kit to be taught in this context. So I tried to pick something that we could do within the span of like 3 hours tops, like 2 to 3 hours is usually what it takes. And it's buildable, like doing your Legos. Like you do the big easy parts first, and then as you go through a Lego kit, it gets a little more difficult and fine motor by the end. So I had to make a second kit for the guys who did last year, who were like, well, I want to do another one. So this year we're offering the beginner class and the intermediate or advanced class, whatever you want to call it. And they're doing a tremolo.
Okay.
So, when I emailed everybody from last year to say, like, this is what we're doing, that started filling up super fast. I think there's 1 or 2 spots left in that one.
And there's still intermediate one.
In the intermediate one, yep. Yeah. And there's still a handful left for the beginner one. So if you weren't part of it last year and you want to get in, it's a great way to get on it. Everybody left with working pedals, which I was like, you all pass. That's great. It's fantastic. The other thing we've been doing all summer at all of our events is so the tremolo that we're making in the advanced class, I just made a bunch of them here by hand, but I put them all in like blank enclosures. They're all different colors. So at the class, we're all getting white enclosures just so that we can stamp it and do whatever art you want. I just got like a dozen of these. Some are blue, some are red, some are sparkle, some are gold. And I built the tremolo, but at all of our events, we'll have these at the summit too. At our board, people can pick whatever knobs they want. They can pick whatever stamps they want and put it in a box and whatever, and basically have a tremolo pedal that they designed in 5 minutes instead of taking the 3 hours to build it from scratch. Like, it's already designed and worked. You just have to get the knobs and the artwork. So we'll have that available. Yeah, it's a build-a-bear. Yeah, all the hard work's done. And the way I've been telling people at our events this summer is I was like, it's your friendship bracelet from summer camp. You go to guitar summer camp, you see all your friends, you check out all the cool stuff, and like, you know, maybe you leave with a $9,000 acoustic. Maybe you just leave with like a $150 pedal that's got a little thing on it. But it's something that you kind of put your own little stamp on, like literally.
And the beginners class, it's total beginners, like people who've never held a soldering iron before in their life. That's okay.
Yeah, everybody. I had people who came last year who were like super timid and we're like, no, come on in. We're going to have it to be fun. We did a whole like safety walkthrough. We're like, all right, this is what you're going to do. Whenever you're not actually soldering, you put it down. This is how we're going to walk through it. If you have done a little bit before and you want to have a little more freedom, you can do that. We have printed off directions. If you're like, I think I can go a step ahead. Okay. If you want to work with me at my pace, you can sit close to me. I can watch what you do, check your work as we go along, float all about, and just really make sure everything is working right there. And even some of the guys were helping each other. Like, it was just super fun. Like people who had like done little hobby projects or maybe like guitar repair, like they've swapped out pickups. So they're like, I've done little stuff. I was like, okay, well, they would work with somebody who was brand new. And the guy like, does that solder point look like, yeah, maybe do like this. Oh, there we go. Now it's good. Yeah. They would just like help each other along. And it was really funny because at the end, when we have to test everything, plug each one into an amp, turn it on, make sure everything works. The guys who finished first, guys and girls, who finished first would stick around till the end to cheer on everybody as they tested theirs and they all worked.
That's so cool.
There were people who would just, I'm like, we've been here for hours. Like I was just like sweating from running around doing it. I'm like, are you guys cool? Like you're done. They're like, yeah, we're just having a ball. Then you'd hear like, da, 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 somebody's works and they're just like, yeah, everybody's cheering and supportive. It was super cool.
Do you, as a veteran actual school teacher, do you learn anything teaching rank amateur civilians how to make pedals? Like, do you?
Oh my God. It's funny. Like I went into teaching. I was like weird. So I went, it wasn't my like first career, like right out of college. So I did music stuff for a while and just from like working in guitar stores, like, I don't know. I liked the thing of like, oh, you don't know how to do this thing. I'm going to show it to you. Now you know how to do it. You have a skill. Leave me alone. You can go do it now. And like just getting people newer skills, and that naturally transitioned into like teaching. So I was like, well, I teach children because that's where you get a job. But being able to teach adults, it's the same thing of like, they come in terrified and you're like, no, we got this, man. We're building confidence. We're learning new skills. And a couple people have emailed me getting ready for this year. And we're like, hey, Mark, I just want to let you know, I've built like 20 or 30 pedals over the course of the year. Like, thanks for getting me into it. They just, because that's the other part is I started by building clones. Like I started as a self-taught hobbyist. So people will reach out to me throughout the year or even in the class and be like, hey, so where did you get all these parts? And I'm like, oh, these are the websites that I use to shop through. These are some good resources to get some like clone PCBs. And they'll just email me throughout the year, just be like, hey, I'm looking for something that does this. Would you recommend A, B, or C? And I'm like, yeah, I've experience with this one. I've heard good things about this one. And we go from there. And I did another one of these classes around Christmas time at our local guitar center here in Syracuse, New York. They've been super supportive of my whole company and the whole thing, and they're all great people. And I did a class there, and that I remember as being like, okay, let me take what I learned from the summit. I did tweak and change a few things about like, hey, you know what? In my brain, what we did at the summit would have worked great, but it hit a bottleneck at like this point. So like, okay, so you could tweak into this. So then I did it in Syracuse. Like, hey, we got through that bottleneck. You know what? This other thing probably could have been smoother. Like, yep, I'm going to make sure we do that next time going around. So like, long-winded answer. Yes, I'm learning just by teaching of like ways to do it smoother and better of how we're going to do this. Because I would love to eventually offer kits through our site that people can just buy and do at home. I just haven't gotten to that point time-wise because there's only 24 hours in a day. And so,
can you also tell me that one of the students was colorblind, and that was an issue.
Yeah.
Or a curveball. Not an issue for them, but a curveball.
One person showed up, and so we will help you get through everything. The resistors are all color coded. If you don't know, there's 5 bands on them, and depending what the color order is, tells you what the value of the resistor is. So our beginner class, there's 3 different resistor values, and if you put them in the wrong places, they won't work. So I have it all written down. Like, all right, for the 10K resistor, it's, I forget, whatever the color codes are. And so I'm like, guys, we're gonna do that. We're at this stage, and like this one guy raises his hand. I'm like, what's up? He goes, I'm colorblind. And I was like, okay, I didn't think of that one. That's something we got to fix. And my buddy Steve, who does all of our artwork for the pedals, he was my TA for the class. And he's like, I got him. So he would go over and really help them like sort everything out. I was like, okay, these ones are this value. These are this value, so that he could keep going and participate. And we went through, and like his guy who was working right next to him was like, yeah, I'll help you out. Yeah, that one's yellow. That one's orange. And like he got through it. Somebody else brought the wrong glasses. Like they needed their like cheaters to like see the fine work. And we're like, no, we'll just come sit close to me. We'll get you as much good lighting as we can. And I have a degree in special ed. So I'm like, we'll make modifications. We'll differentiate. We'll do whatever we have to do to make this work.
It's fantastic.
And it's one of the first day I was very nervous all day. I'm like at our booth talking to people, I'm like, do we have this thing for later? Did I forget that? How are we gonna? And after the first class, and we're going to the second one, I already felt 100 times like more confident teaching it, And going into this year, I'm like, we're gonna do it, man. Feeling real good, like.
And we have some new and improved ventilation going on. So, yeah.
Well, and again, those are things like, you're just like, hey, I had only been to one Fretboard Summit prior. Like, how many years have you been doing it? I don't even know.
This is the 5th year. This one.
5th year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, because I had gone the year that Josh did the science fair.
Yeah. The year prior.
That was my first year. So then last year was my second. That's when we did it. And so I kind of knew the layout of the buildings.
Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, we'll have you a room. I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't know the room until I walked in like day of. I'm like, this is my classroom. All right. Well, move some tables and chairs. We'll make it work. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah. I think you have the same classroom this year. I'm not sure though. I should check.
Yeah. It was really fun too, because like how I said, there were some guys who were like, took to it and loved it and were all about it. There were some people at the end of it, they did it. And I was like, so are you all going to start pedal companies now? And they're like, no. I'm glad I did it. But like, it really gives like an appreciation of like what goes into it,
Of course.
And I would see them the next day at just around going to different booths, and they'd go to, Chase Bliss or Brown or whoever, Voltic, whoever was around us. And they're looking at the pedals and they were just like this new appreciation, where they're just like, oh yeah, this is a $300 pedal. They're like, yeah. And that's a steal. Like I understand, like now what goes into it. Like, yeah, it's work, man.
Yeah, I mean, at almost every level of pedal production, it comes down to a human being crouched over something, soldering. There's no robots. There's not a lot of automation going on. Yeah,
and even like going through having to like diagnose because sometimes you'll get there and they don't all work the first time, but the people will be like, oh, this is an issue. I'm like, okay, bring it over here. Let's look. And like we all kind of work together to diagnose it, where I'm like, is the light turning on? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, then the power's good. Is it working in bypass? Yeah. Okay, then the foot switch is good. And we're like working together to like rule it out, to be like, it's this solder point. Let's fix that. And I'm like, now we're good. Now we're working. And by the end, everybody was happy. It was just really, really fun to get through and like do the whole thing. And the cool part is that the pedals that we're offering in the class are not standard models that we sell. Like the drive is like a modified version of our gust drive. The tremolo, we don't even offer a tremolo on our site. There's a component in there that can't be sold in the EU because of some regulation. But I'm like, I have these components. So I'm like, well, if we'll build them, because you could sell them in the US. I'm like, that way I know they'll only sell in the US.
Sure.
So that's all our tremolos that are like, yeah, we're doing only in-person events. So we're not even offering them online.
How much is the class again?
Class tickets are $100.
$100. And you go home with a pedal.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And we have a bunch of stamps and Sharpies. Like I said, if you go, I got to look back on our like Instagram where people were posting all the ones they made last year. Yeah. So it was really creative just to see artistic wise, like what people would do with them at the end. And like people would send me their boards throughout the year. They're like, that's my overdrive. That's what I use now at my blues jam, or that's what I play in church every Sunday. And I'm like, sweet. That's cool.
That's so cool. We have a ton of pedal content this year. I don't know how that all worked out, but it just did. And so you mentioned Josh. Josh Scott is coming back doing 2 sessions for the All Access folks. He's world premiering his movie on electroharmonics that's based around the book. Nice. And he's doing some sort of blindfold, can he identify the pedal challenge.
Okay.
We've got Chris Vincent from R2R Electric bringing in some of his rarest pedals and doing some sort of demo with Hand Habits, who's also playing, and Jessica Dobson of Deep Sea Divers coming. And there's probably some more stuff I'm forgetting about. But yeah, you mentioned the science fair. You did unveil something at the science fair 2 years ago, and we do still have a science fair every year. Are you thinking about that, or are you just, brass tacks here, just going to focus on the bread and butter?
So we do have a kind of crazy release that's coming out right around Fretboard Summit. Okay. I may enter that into the science fair because it is a crazy, quirky idea.
Okay.
The first year we did the report card, which was 5 drive pedals. And depending where you put your foot, you could turn on all 5 at once. That one was silly. And then last year we did the school lunch, which was our first multi-effect, where it was like the same idea of like 4 pedals in one, but it was more ergonomic to turn them all on. And it was a fuzz, distortion, delay, and a boost.
Yeah.
So we're like, it's your whole pedal, and it came in a lunchbox. That was like, we did that last year, and that got a bunch of pre-orders. So we ended up making that like a standard run. Like we still have those in our line right now. So I'll sneak away for the science fair. I got something silly that will be showing off.
And what else has happened at summer school since the last time we talked a year ago?
Oh my God. A year ago. We've put out a bunch of pedals. We picked up some more dealers. We got a lot more international stuff going on. And I've literally taken the entire summer to like travel all over. Like we just did the Baltimore pedal show. I got Earthquaker Day coming up. We're doing the Midwest Pedal Fest in Detroit. I think that's August 8th. I'm teaching more classes. I'm doing one in Birmingham, Alabama at their Guitar Center, like right before Fretboard Summit. And then I'm going up doing the summit, doing some stuff. Stompbox Sonic is doing an event out in Boston, doing another pedal building class in Rhode Island at the end of August. And then back to school in September to go teach kids math, because that's got to happen too.
That's a lot of in-person events.
Yeah, it's at the end of the school year. After the last day, all the teachers go out and have a little drink and party together, and everybody's saying their summer plans. And some people are like, I'm just going to, go to the beach, or my kids are doing like this camp. And they're like, Mark, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm like traveling a bit. And they're like, oh, where are you going? I'm like, everywhere. Like, literally all over the United States. And I'm like, it's just spent a lot of quality time in my car with some fun podcasts. So
incredible.
A lot of silliness.
What were some of the new releases from this year?
So last year we did the school lunch. That was the big one that we did. In the fall, we did a collaboration with Super Cool Pedals. They're my buddy Jamie's from Peterborough, Ontario, and a lot of his stuff is like cigarette alcohol themed, and all our stuff is school themed. So we did Smoking in the Boys Room.
Yeah.
That was our collaboration. So we did that around December, I think. And then in April, we put out Fuzz 101, which was like after a year of doing our reverb and chorus and the multi-effect and an international collaboration in a time of tariffs and all this chaos, I was like, can I just make a fuzz pedal? Like, I'm really tired. Can I just go back to basics? So we did Fuzz 101, and that's been doing really, really well for us. And then it was just prepping for the summer for all this like travel. And I'm hoping to have, our next release is going to be right before the summit. And I'm hoping to have another pedal for like the fall, like right around November, December. I just hope I can get it built in time. Find some time to do it.
And with Fuzz 101, like, how do you distinguish yourself? There is no shortage of fuzz pedals to choose from.
So what I did, my way of thinking about it was, I'm someone who doesn't like a lot of fuzz pedals. Like, I'm just not that player. Like, I'm an overdrive distortion guy. So I'm like, all right, start with a fuzz face, that type of fuzz. And I just went through some of my favorite mods. I was like, oh, I know on like the JHS3 series, they did this, this, and this. On the Analog Man Sunface, they did this, this, and this. And I knew a couple other mods. And I'm like trying to find something that I really like. And some things that I hadn't seen done before, like we added a tone stack out of a Rat. So it has a little bit more characteristics of a Rat pedal than your traditional fuzz pedal. Added a bias control, so you can really just achieve all these different sounds within a traditional fuzz pedal. And it was stuff that like I haven't seen anybody do. I don't want to say I'm the only one. I'm sure somebody did. I just haven't seen it. But like, I haven't seen somebody use a Rat tone stack on it, and do the combination of mods that we did, to just do it where it's also like Fuzz 101, like you went back to basics. And that if you are new to fuzz, this is what you need: volume, fuzz, tone, bias. Those are like the big things you can tweak on it. If you've played a bajillion fuzz pedals, maybe you need a remedial course. Maybe you just need to go back to like a really basic fuzz. And from sending it to people checking it out and like R&D and sending out for demos, it was interesting getting feedback where some people were like, I was expecting it to be like a modern gated Velcro fuzz. And they're like, it's more like a Maestro, like a way old school. I'm like, yeah, it's a basic fuzz. Like, there's not that many parts under the hood. It's really traditional, like Fuzz 101. It's a simple, straightforward fuzz. And just hearing what people have done with it, like running it into a dirty amp is crazy. Running it before distortion, just for like a lead sound, makes it totally different. Like it's a simple thing that can just open a lot of doors. You know what I mean?
Sure. When you're in the design phase for something like that, are you able to kind of create the mothership and then alligator clip in the Rat tone stack to see if it works? Or do you have to have every time start from scratch and go, no, this didn't work, now I'm going to try this thing?
That's yes. That's the short answer.
Okay.
It depends on like what the crazy idea is. Like, so for that, I knew what I wanted for just the fuzz. So I was like, all right, let's just build on a breadboard, like build a traditional fuzz face, and then start making your mods from there and be like, okay, the fuzz is fuzzing. It's doing what I want. And then when I was like, all right, I had this idea to add a tone thing to it. All right, so somewhere else on the breadboard, I built what would be a Rat tone stack, and then just kind of punched it in to be like, okay, that does what I want. Let's swap this thing out. Maybe I want to run it between the transistors, or I want to run it at the very end, this moving stuff around with the wires to be like, okay, now I found something I liked. And my biggest problem is like, so I'll have like the schematic printed out on a piece of paper and then I'm building on the breadboard. Every time you make a change on the breadboard, it'd be real smart to write down what that change was. And I'm terrible at like slowing down. So I'm like, ooh, this and this and this. And you're like, you just changed 6 things and didn't write any of them down.
This is why you're not a cookbook author.
Yeah. And so then I'm like, all right, let's pause and just double check what you have to make sure it's following it right. So yeah, usually I get to the end of it and then I just kind of be like, just stare, be like, what was that one? Okay, that was the, like, have to redo it because I just get too excited and work too fast.
Got it.
But yeah, it's definitely a fun process to do the R&D. And usually I have like 2 or 3 different breadboards going of like 2 or 3 different pedals, because I'll get to a point where I'll hit a wall or just get frustrated with one and be like, I don't know why it's not working. Set it aside, work on something else, and then like come back to it with fresh eyes. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's not plugged in. Like, boop. Oh, now it works. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I have to just I have to pace myself because I've lost hours just getting frustrated, staring at wires and resistors. And
I can't imagine. Yeah. And that school lunch, there's like a lot of wires, I imagine, under the hood.
Oh my God. Dude, that literally had to be like build 4 different things and like connect them together. And I was like printing out the schematic and it barely fit on like a standard piece of paper, just had like to get everything on there. And I was like, okay. And I would go through and be like, this section works. Like circle it and be like, don't touch that. Now do this part. Okay, that one works. Circle that one. And like,
sure.
It was such a process to like figure it all out.
Well, you did it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's the Lunchables of effects pedal boards.
It's funny. So like I originally just did it as a pre-order because I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to want this silly all analog. And we packaged it in the lunchbox, and every in-person event we've done, people were like floored by it. And we're like, yeah, I'm going to get that. And a bunch of the guys pre-ordered them after building pedals in our class at the summit last year, because they were like, what is that? I'm like, well, you know what you guys did like yesterday? This is that like on steroids. And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get one of those too. I'm like, cool, thank you. Like, that's great.
That makes me think there must be a number of people. I'm looking at your website. There must be a number of people out there who have a summer school themed pedal board and kind of keeping with the school thing. Is there anything you don't have right now that you should, if somebody wanted to have like an all summer school pedal board?
Like effect wise?
Yeah.
You saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that I'm working on. Like I'm working on a tremolo that will work, that gets around the component issue that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So to eventually offer a regular tremolo, there's a phaser that I'm toying with that's not out yet. But no, there are a couple friends and people who I know around who like definitely have a full like summer school, or like a lot of summer school on their board, which is always really, really cool. Like I played a gig Saturday this past weekend with a couple friends bands, and like the band after us is like setting up, and I'm like, oh, he's got a Gus drive and a middle school chorus. And I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. Like one of the guitarists in the other band has that. And I was like, that's pretty cool. And like between gigs, like, or between sets, somebody in the other band comes up to me and he's like, hey, do you know why the foot switch on my Orange isn't working? I don't know what cable to use. And I'm like, I could try to diagnose it. He's like, I figured if anybody was here, you would know. I'm like, I think it needs a TRS cable and you're using a standard like guitar cable. Try that. He's like, all right, that'll fix it. I'm like, I don't know. I think that would be it. That's now I just have to
a doctor in the house is basically.
Yeah. Now, like any gig I'm at, I have to be like tech support for pedals. Like,
sure.
If a board fails, everyone just like looks in my direction. I'm like, I'm not in that band. That's his board. I don't know what he did.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, you have a very busy July and August, as do I.
Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for teaching this class and for exhibiting at the summit, but the class in particular is just such a fun thing that I've heard so much great feedback on. So I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you for letting me do this crazy, silly idea here. And I'm excited to see where it all goes.
I know.
This year and going forward, like people seem into it.
Yeah, the summit's turned into its own thing. I mean, it's this cool little, I keep saying family reunion of sorts because it just feels like that where, and I say that in the most inclusive way possible because anyone listening to this or wants to go is welcome to join the family. It's just, it's sort of.
It is, there are like regulars that I've, like from the couple of years I've done it where I'm like, I remember you, like what you been up to, like how's it going? And like, even some of our like dealers in the Midwest stop by and just use that as like a check-in and, we get all that figured out. And all the other pedal builders, like our first year, I think we were in the room with like Voltic and Chase Bliss and Madsen and Seif and Silktone and all them. And I know like John from Voltic has become like one of my best pedal buddies. And same with like Maynard from Madsen. Like we've done some work together of designing stuff for each other. And like, I just met them from being put in the room for that weekend with them. And now we just text like all the time.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it's like, yeah, it's awesome. It's a cool little crew.
It is. And I can't thank you enough. We have a couple, I mean, we always have like how to play better classes, workshops at the summit, but there is also there is also a guitar building for kids class on Saturday morning. So
I think
it's Saturday morning. So yeah, so anyone, that's free. We're just making that free. And Grez Guitars and Black Bobbin and Stephen Harrison and a couple other people I'm forgetting. Wade from Three Bender are all teaching whoever shows up a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to build a guitar in an hour, but a little bit just to kind of get kids of any age, I imagine, excited about what goes into guitar making. So that'll be fun.
So cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, back to work for both of us. Thanks for chatting.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for having me. And thank you, everybody, for listening. And everyone who's already signed up for the classes. I'm excited to teach you guys. And if you're into it, there's a few more spots available for both classes right now.
All right. And I'll include links in the notes for the podcast to both those classes. So folks can find it easily.
Thank you so much.
All right. That was my conversation with Mark Turley all the way from Syracuse, New York. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks as always for tuning into the Fretboard Journal. Thanks for being a part of our community. I hope to see you at the summit. If you have any questions, hit me up, podcast@fretboardjournal.com. And thanks as always for being a part of this extended family of guitar nuts.